Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome to the Bluegrass Sports Show, or
The BS Show. We are two fat guys talking crap. He is the Sharif of loving the beef. I am the daddy of fatty.
I'm Carl,
I'm Perry.
the animal, and today we're gonna. He got a new truck, ladies and gentlemen. Got an animal lit up.
I had the truck for a
I
month.
know. Today we're going over the playoffs. Gonna touch base on those.
Surprise!
Yeah.
We've never talked about those.
And then Perry's got some surprise little things he wants to discuss. It's something about those chubby cheeks. Just gives him ideas.
I know we discussed it earlier. I can't remember what they was. So maybe they'll come back to me.
Oh, maybe. If not, this will be a really short video. But overall, we're trying to keep this video under 20 minutes for you guys. So I guess we'll jump right in. Perry, you want to go?
Yeah, before we get into the playoffs, I want to pose this question. I want to pose this question to you. There was an update that come out to Kentucky basketball, and you might hear us get back to that in a few moments as well. You might. P.J. Washington has come out. His father said if he is promised in writing that he will be a first-round pick, he will stay in the draft. But other than that, he'll probably come back.
Oh.
So
he's
meeting with the Celtics, who have the 27th pick, and meeting with Brooklyn, who through trade have the 29th pick. I think he's also got meetings with the T-Wolves and meetings with the Clippers, but they've got higher picks where nobody in the world's going to take him. Right. Brooklyn also has the 40th pick. I don't think that he would go to be a second-round pick, but you never know.
I don't see why he would. I mean, he's got the potential to do better than
He's got potential to be a mid to late first-round pick next year.
Right.
He could come back and blow up and get into the lottery. Who knows? Just the type of big man that P.J. Washington is, that's a big man that don't really exist in the NBA.
Right.
He's got to learn to shoot outside.
Yeah, if he could learn to shoot outside, which he's a little slow, but he could possibly play the 3 in NBA.
He's the only person I've ever seen that whenever he jumps, he gets shorter. Go back and watch him. You'll see what I mean. He'll jump, and it's like he scrunches up. And, you know.
Oh, my God, Perry's ideas.
Watching him jump is kind of like watching a T-Rex try to cross its arms. It just something don't happen.
Can't happen, can it?
I don't know. Anyways,
yeah.
Just a quick hitter. Just one I didn't know if anybody knew. But on to the NBA playoffs. Like I said, we may come back to Kentucky in a moment.
Right.
So we'll address what we said last week. Carl picked the Raptors in 6. I picked the Cavs in 6. I made it known that until DeRozan could beat LeBron, DeRozan and Lowry, until it actually happens, I'm not going to believe it's going to happen. Now, you made a point to me earlier today. You want to talk about who you was wrong? You picked all the sweet in the West. You picked it.
That was just for you, not for them.
Whoop-de-doo.
That was just for you.
So I picked the total games wrong in this series. Wasn't even close. It was never close. Well,
I never said it was going to be close.
Well, I'll take it back. Games 1 through 3 were actually... The Raptors made a big comeback in Game 3, but other than that, Games 1 through 3 were competitive, and they just melted down the stretch. Game 4, a colossal debacle.
Now, I also said, I agreed with you that it depended on Game 2. And when the Cavs took Game 2, I knew they had won the series.
The issue where DeRozan gets himself ejected last night, I think...
The series was over.
Well, that series was over, and I also think the window for the Raptors are over. I believe it's done. They never had a window to win championship. I've said it for the last 2 seasons that DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry were 2 of the most overrated players in the league. I once again fell into the trap saying maybe they have a chance this year because they restructured their offense, based it around DeRozan. He played phenomenal all year long. Once again, you get to the postseason, LeBron comes in. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. It's
right.
So many people are making such a big deal out of LeBron's stats versus Lowry and DeRozan's combined stats. They're impressive. Go back and look at the stats for the last 4 postseasons. This is nothing new. LeBron has decimated the Raptors for 4 straight years.
Right.
So...
And I mean, like I said, I never thought that they had a window for a championship at all.
No.
They may have had a small window to get out of the East.
Yes.
But that was it, and it was a small one at that.
Like I said last week, according to Vegas, the Raptors had the greatest chance to get out of the East and go to the finals. The Sixers had the best chance to win the finals. Neither one of them are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll go ahead and jump down to Boston and Philadelphia.
Yep.
I want to pose this question.
Okay.
Boston is doing to Philadelphia what they're doing, everybody knows, without Kyrie Irving,
Right.
without Gordon Hayward.
Right.
Okay? Something that me and Doug and Cody discussed the other day, maybe it's Brad Stevens' coaching system to where an isolation point guard like an Isaiah Thomas, like a Kyrie Irving, like a Terry Rozier is just unbelievably beneficial for his coaching style. Be that what it may, as depleted with injury as what the Boston Celtics are, they're completely destroying the Sixers. The Sixers completely destroyed the Heat. Okay? All right. Is Boston that good?
No.
Is Boston so good that without their two best players, meaning Kyrie and Hayward, that with a rookie in Jason Tatum, who is really good, a second-year man in Jaylen Brown, who is really good, and Al Horford, they're destroying a team whose two best players should be better than anybody on the court.
But it's coaching.
I agree, it's coaching. Is Boston that good, or in hindsight, is the East that bad?
See, I don't think it's that, because that's saying. I mean, look what you just said.
I'm just playing.
Vegas had Philly the best chance to win the finals
of an East team.
Right, but I'm just saying. So if Philly's that bad, why is Boston destroying them? And that's. I think it's coaching.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Right. But I think it's coaching. I think that's why I said Brad Stevens to me.
I think it falls somewhere in the middle.
Well, I mean, it's got something to do.
Look at it this way:
with the East being
weak. The Pacers,
but the East has always been weak.
The Pacers were the 5 seed in the East.
Right.
Had they been in the West, they're the 7 seed. Okay, and that's it. The bottom 3 teams in the East don't even make the playoffs if they're in the West. Okay, it's not day difference.
Well, you're just going off their win-loss record. Their win-loss record changes if they go to the West.
Yes, and they're worse.
Right,
they're playing more Eastern Conference teams.
Right, so they're worse.
Exactly,
and that's my point. So just going by win-loss record, the 3 fall out.
If the Rockets are in the East, they win 75 games this year.
They destroy everybody. Yeah, so I agree. But I don't think it's that the Eastern Conference is that much weaker than what it normally is. I really don't think it's that. I just think that the coaching of Brad Stevens is phenomenal.
I agree as well. I'll disagree with you on one note.
What's up?
I think the East is worse than it's been, but it's more balanced.
Well, okay, yeah, I can see that. Worse than it's been because
there's so much talent that left it.
Right. That's what I was meaning. Like
so much talent. Now there's new young talent that in a couple of years, the East look out. Yeah. Look out for the Sixers. Look out for the Celtics. Look out for the Pacers. I mean, let's wait and see what happens with Cleveland.
Right.
Nobody said LeBron's going anywhere, and they've got the Nets pick.
Right.
So, and just who knows?
Well, there's a ton of people saying LeBron's going somewhere, but people talk.
Quickly before we move to the West.
Okay.
We were just watching this, of course, on the jump. Thoughts on Rodney Hood?
With what he did, refusing to go in, stupid. Absolutely stupid. This is not somebody that is in a position to refuse to go in the game. I don't care where you're at.
He had baggage with him in college. He started out in the SEC, ended up at Duke.
Right.
Okay. I've never had any issues with Rodney. You never hear anything bad about Rodney, but like Rachel Nichols said whenever we were listening to The Jump, there's people in Utah now being
laughing.
See what we dealt with.
Right.
Because like Paul Pierce said, they lost Gordon Hayward. They handed the reins to Rodney Hood.
And he left it.
And he crapped the bed.
Yeah.
Not only did he not take the reins of the horse, he punched the horse in the mouth and he went and milked the cow. He went and milked a cow, and he couldn't even do that right. So.
Yeah, but I think he'll be out of the league in a few years. Or
I don't think he's going to be out of the league necessarily.
He'll be a bottom feeder.
But he's. I just.
You're not in a position to do that.
You don't hear a lot of stuff about. It's people's like, we've never heard this about Rodney Hood. He was tucked away in Utah.
Right.
You never hear anything about anything that's going on in Utah. So,
except for this year. I mean, before this year.
Donovan Mitchell. That's it.
Right.
Donovan Mitchell has been the biggest story out of Utah since I don't know when.
Gobert was the only player they had.
I mean, just.
Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting to me, though, that anybody would even act like that.
Speaking of disgusting, let's talk about the Western Conference. Because it is disgustingly over. Yes,
right.
I sat here and said both series are sweeps. It looks like I'm going to miss it by one game in both. By
one game, yeah.
And
which I am happy with that the Pelicans got to win.
I am too, and like I said, it was much more likely that they were going to do that
than the Jazz,
because they have a superstar in Anthony Davis.
Right.
And it's the same. Well,
not to mention Rondo's playing phenomenal in these playoffs.
Game 2 with Golden State and New Orleans was close.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty close. Games 1, Game 4 were complete blowouts. Okay. The Houston-Utah series has not been remotely close, except for the one game that Joe Ingles just goes off and says, "My name is Joe, you're a smoke."
Your little quirky things are so goofy.
I've been in the sun all day. I've been in the sun all day.
So, we know for sure who's going. Who comes out?
I have a faceless coat.
You do?
Oh,
is that the Ghostbusters? Look at.
Oh no,
no, that's her little pigtails.
Not very good.
That's her little pigtails.
We know it's Warriors Houston.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
There's not really anything to talk about. Davis is playing.
Who comes out?
Davis is playing great for the Pelicans, but other than that, it's whatever. Who comes out? Warriors.
Yeah, Warriors. I think Warriors as well. I just don't think. For one, I have zero faith in D'Antoni to win an NBA championship. Zero faith. I think he's a phenomenal offensive mind. Garbage defensive mind.
Rockets been better defensively this year.
But he's never had a great defensive team.
No.
He's terrible defensive coach, and he'll never win a championship because of it. Unless, barring LeBron going to Houston, and maybe even another all-star or superstar
or if somebody major goes down for Golden State.
Right. So, barring, something crazy.
You've got so much.
I would say that two people have to go down for Golden State. Two of their main people. So that's Curry, Clay, Draymond, or Durant.
I was of the mindset that they could still. I still thought that Golden State could beat Houston without Steph.
That's what I'm saying. So two's got to go down.
As great as James Harden is, as really good as Chris Paul is.
Right.
At the end of the day, neither one of them is Steph Curry. Neither one of them is Kevin Durant.
Exactly. So two people would have to go down before, and then you really need one of them to be Kevin Durant or Steph Curry. But I'm leaning toward Kevin Durant, and then you take away like a Klay Thompson, and then you can double Curry, and try to focus on him.
Would you like to hear my bold prediction of the night?
Sure, go ahead.
If Philadelphia wins Game 5, they're winning the series.
Ooh, but I don't see them winning Game 5.
I think they lose Game 5.
Right.
I absolutely think they do.
Now,
but if they beat Boston in Game 5, there's so much youth and inexperience on the Boston team.
Right.
Same thing for Philadelphia.
But if the difference may be that coaches.
It very well could be. But I'm standing by this. If Philadelphia wins Game 5, they're winning the series. But I think Boston wins.
Yeah.
it ain't going back to Philly.
No, I don't believe so.
It will not go back to Philly for 6. Boston is Boston.
We picked who would come out of the West. So let's say it's Boston Cavs. Who comes out?
Boston Cavs.
Cavs? I think the same thing. So.
LeBron has Kevin Love, who is better than anybody. Well, he may not be better than Jason Tatum, but he's definitely better than Al Horford.
At one point, yes, but not right now.
LeBron's got love. People want to crack down on LeBron's carrying this team. He don't have any talent. LeBron has J.R. Smith, who he's now.
J.R. Smith's been a solid player.
J.R. Smith is about to go.
On LeBron's teams forever.
J.R. Smith is about to go, more than likely, to his 4th straight finals with LeBron.
That's what I'm saying. He's been with LeBron forever.
Kyle Korver is about to go to his 2nd straight finals with LeBron, more than likely.
Right.
Tristan Thompson is about to go to his 4th straight finals.
That's another solid player.
With LeBron, more than likely. Jeff Green, while he's not good now, not like he was, Jeff Green has been a solid player in his career.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Hood, if they can ever get him lined out.
He has the ability.
George Hill comes from the school of Greg Popovich.
Comes from the school of Greg Pop.
Yes.
And George Hill, I like.
Jordan Clarkson is a nice player. No, he don't have the superstar all-star teammates that he's historically had to have to win a title, but he's still got talent. I'm so tired of hearing that he don't. Does he have what Steph Curry has beside him? No. That's because he run him off to Boston. Go ahead.
Run him off to Boston?
Yeah.
That's what you believe? I believe that Kyrie Irving had to be the big dog. He had to prove I can win without LeBron.
I think it's a combination of both.
I don't. I mean, why? How come none of his other teammates run off? You know what I'm saying? And you can say, well, Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is another one that has to be the main person. That's why he hasn't done good if he's not. That's why he blew up when he went to Boston, because he was the dog. That's my feelings on it. He's not had
LeBron.
You take a John Wall and put him with LeBron, and they're going to mesh perfectly. Because John Wall literally said, I would rather have the championships as to being the main star.
There's a lot of truth to what you're saying, but trust me, LeBron was just as much at fault there as what Kyrie was. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know about it. And that's another reason why I think the Celtics is going to blow up. I don't think it's going to last.
The quick hitter topic.
Okay.
Quick hitter topic.
Yeah.
And you discussed this earlier today.
Well, I'm glad you picked one we talked about and not hitting me off the fly, but we better be quick hitter. We only got 2.5 minutes.
Can a team of Kentucky players in the league right now, could they win an NBA title?
Well, I believe so. We disagreed a little bit when we was discussing this earlier on who you take, right?
You're wanting Eric Bledsoe. I don't. I like Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe has a lot of redeeming to do.
Right. But I just thought, well, Rondo, like you said, he's playing phenomenal these playoffs. How you going to fault John Wall and Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, Karl Anthony Towns, who didn't do much in some of the playoffs, but he did well.
He didn't have a good first 2 games, but the other 3 games in the series,
that's what I said. Great. So he's still, really good. And then you've got role players around those that are fantastic role players. Julius Randle, Patrick Patterson, like you mentioned. Well, look at Devin Booker, and I never can remember his name. I did the same thing when we talked about it earlier. No, Booker.
Oh, Booker.
I was like, what's his name in Phoenix?
give me a starting crew. There's not really a great wing.
No,
that's where you're coming at. Just a big. You can put Devin Booker on the wing, but he's not going to be able to guard guys like LeBron or Kevin Durant or Kawhi Leonard.
See, that's where you need Kid Gilchrist, who is defensive minded, but he can't score. He can't shoot.
Whenever you put Gilchrist on the floor with that team, you're putting him on the floor with Wall, who can't really shoot all that well.
Right.
So that's taking a little bit of spacing away. You've also more than likely.
But, see, now, hang on. I want to throw this at you. All right, so let's say you've got him out there with Cousin Davis both in, who can also stretch the floor, with Booker in at the 2 guard, who can stretch the floor. Does that, and then just have Gilchrist in for defense?
Perhaps, but then you're really short on your bench for who you have on the wing.
That's true.
I think you've got to bring Gilchrist off the bench in that scenario. I think you've got to start Wall, Murray, Booker, and just swallow what you've got with defensive deficiency between. Booker's not a bad defender. Murray's not a good defender.
Right.
Booker's actually a pretty decent defender. Whenever you would have Wall, you have Murray, and then you've got Booker. There's your perimeter. I think you start Davis.
And like we said earlier, I'm going with Cat. I'm going with Cat.
I really want to go with Davis because Cousins, because Cousins and Davis works together.
Right.
But by the same token, what defensive deficiencies that Carl Towns might have, you can hide somewhat with Anthony Davis. Right. And then on the bench, you go with Rondo. You go with a healthy Brandon Knight. You go with a Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. You put a Julius Randle in right there. Mm-hmm. And what he has with defensive deficiencies, you can match with DeMarcus Cousins. And then you've got so much depth with big man. I mean, right. If you've got Patrick Patterson, you got Nerlens Noel, you got Willie Cauley-Stein, you got Enes Kanter.
See, me personally, I'm taking Patterson and Bledsoe as at least my final two pieces. Right? Because I just really like how they
If you give me a full 15-man roster, then I'll put Eric Bledsoe on there. But I'm going to tell you, I'm playing a healthy Brandon Knight before I play Eric Bledsoe right now.
Well, we went over our 20-minute mark.
Dang, I'm sorry.
That was Perry's little, list there. That's what did it. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed that, thank you for watching. Hit that like button, share it with your friends. Like us on Facebook, Bluegrass Sports Show.
Subscribe.
Yeah, and subscribe, because we're still waiting to do this 50 subscribers video. Ain't y'all got friends? Share it.
Don't have to get hot about it.
I'm hot in this house.
But anyway. Santa, I am glad you...
Don't read that.
Why?
It's my daughter's Santa note.
And I can't read it?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, well, I'll read it in silence.
I was kidding. Leah wrote it.
Her handwriting is better than mine, therefore I can't read it. I'm used to reading slop.
Hope you like your cookies and milk.
Hope you like your cookies and milk.
Oh. Anyway. Anything else you want to finish off? No? All right. See you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.